Hi, I'm Jimmy from A Kid's Opinion, and earlier today I posted a video about Wandavision, the new Disney Plus series, and I was reviewing it. Now I'm going to be ranking all 9 episodes. This was a good show. This is a very hard list to make. Most of these are like really, really good episodes. There's one that was clearly my number 9 that we will get to. Um, so yeah, same thing. Be respectful in the comment section. Be good people. All that stuff. And now let's start. Number 9, I'm gonna go with the 7th episode, Breaking the Fourth Wall. This one was, it wasn't very good. It was okay, I guess. It was okay at most. Because most of the intrigue was gone by this point. We had a few more questions, but it wasn't like the first 2 episodes where we're like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I don't know what's going on. Now it was just like, okay, let's just get an answer. And the sitcom stuff was weakest. The aesthetic was bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just didn't like the aesthetic, I guess. I like The Office, and I've heard the Modern Family is really good. I haven't watched it. In fact, I love The Office, which is surprising that I wouldn't like this episode. But it's just, I feel like it just didn't fit in with the show right, because all of the episodes are like period pieces in their own sense. And this one isn't like far back enough to have enough significance. And then the Agatha reveal was, I mean, it wasn't as big as what we wanted, but I mean, we can't expect everything to be, oh, there's Doctor Strange, there's Captain Marvel, this ties into the X-Men, this ties into the Fantastic Four. We can't expect all of that. And Vision and Wanda separated. I just didn't like that. The best part of the show was when they were together, because they were a good couple. They were in love. It was good. So I just didn't like that they were separated. And the talking to the camera got a little bit boring. I really did not like Wanda's attitude at first, and I'm like, I'm gonna hate this episode. I didn't hate this episode. I It just was definitely the weakest out of all 9 of these. Now, number 8, I'm gonna have to go with the second episode, Don't Touch That Dial. Both episodes have a lot of intrigue, and they're very cool, because they're like the first things you're seeing, and unlike the 7th episode, there's a lot you don't know. So, like, the reason this one is higher is because it is more intrigue, it is more mystery. You're trying to figure out things instead of one big answer. So, that's what I really like about these early episodes. Don't touch that dial. I just feel like the 60s aesthetic isn't as good as the 50s aesthetic. Like I said, the acting is good. The acting is good in this episode, just like the rest. Like I said in my last video about the acting. It just, there's a lot of good things in this show, and sometimes when other shows do it better, you kind of forget about those other episodes, if you get what I mean. Obviously I don't forget stuff, so I didn't forget this episode, but it's just not as good as the other episodes. Still good, but just not as good. I don't like the aesthetic as much as the 50s one. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. I do that. Number 7 is the first episode filmed before a live studio audience. This one had the most intrigue out of all of them because you don't know what's going on. And just like the last one, it ended with a little thing at the end. But I just felt like this one was more like your brain was churning the entire time. Um, which is very interesting. I mean, you wish you had more Marvel stuff, true Marvel stuff, true MCU fighting action, all that stuff, which the later episodes give you more, but still, yeah. These 2 episodes are kind of the same, but what separates them for me is the aesthetics. The 60s and 50s, the 60s and 50s are done the same, but I feel like the 50s is just easier. It's better to capture, kind of. It's just a better decade to represent, to show. And number 6 is going to be Now in Color. This one was tricky because the last 10 minutes of this episode, I forgot to mention, this was the 3rd episode. This one has a lot of intrigue, I guess. Maybe the last 10 minutes, and the last 10 minutes is definitely the best. You get Catherine Hahn at the end, have a very, serious moment with Herb talking to Vision, and then Wanda's inside talking about Monica Rambeau or Geraldine, and that whole part is really cool. So there's parts in this that I really like. I just feel like the plot wasn't entertaining enough. And other parts of this, I feel like when you keep watching it, it gets less entertaining, because the best part about watching it is the intrigue, except for the last episode, which has a lot of MCU and Marvel action. I'm getting ahead of myself here. The fifth, number 5 for me is going to be the 8th episode, Previously On. When I first saw this, I was like, I don't like this. This isn't good. And then I rewatched it with my brother, and he's like, I dislike this that much. And I'm like, yeah, I felt that too when I was rewatching this. This wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't boring like I thought I remembered. It was actually entertaining as you really learn more about Wanda's past. When I first saw it, I was like, this drags on too long. It doesn't drag on too long. It has a really good time. Really good acting by everyone in it. But I think I said this before. I liked Catherine Hahn more as the nosy neighbor than the villain. It's not as prominent in this episode as it was in the next episode. Um, the series finale. That's actually what it's called, the 9th episode. But getting my head myself again. This episode was good. I keep saying the word episode. This chapter, no, it's still an episode. Previously on was a good episode. It gave you that backstory of Wanda and what happened, and a reveal that Hayworth was indeed lying. Wanda didn't steal Vision's body. She just resurrected him. Well, not even resurrected him. She created him, which is gonna play in part to the next episode. The 4th episode is We Interrupt This Program. Sorry, number 4 is also the 4th episode, We Interrupt This Program. When I first saw this, I was like, this is one of the top 10 television episodes in history. But it didn't progress the plot enough. It gave you so much, but also so little at the same time. It filled in all the spots, but it also, you barely get to see Wanda and Vision in there. And it's called Wandavision. Still, I really did like this episode. It's very hard to rank these. Number 3 is the 5th episode, the 80s episode. It's called On a Very Special Episode. This one should be the best episode in the entire show. Something just doesn't work for me. I don't know. It's not the 80s aesthetic. I love the 80s. But there's just something about it that I don't like. I don't know. Maybe it's too long. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like there's something in it that I'm not really big on. The Pietro thing in the end, even though it's revealed that it's nothing, it's still a pretty cool reveal to see him. I knew it was gonna happen, but I was still shocked. I knew it was gonna happen because I saw the leaks, but I was still shocked when I saw that. And then the second episode, my number 2 is going to be the 6th episode, the Halloween Spooktacular. I like Halloween episodes. I guess after this, I really like Halloween episodes. I really like that they're outside. It's not really confined anymore. You just get more liveliness. It's like the 90s. I like the theme song of this one and the 80s episode. Both the 90s and the 80s have very iconic looks to them. And the 70s, I guess you could say. The theme song, so this theme song was done very well. The thing that I can pinpoint that I didn't like about this was the ad. It was too disturbing to me. Maybe I just don't like disturbing things like that, especially with kids. That's just my thing. I don't like I've never been a fan of the part in Jaws where the kids get eaten. I just don't like part where like kids die. That's just never really been me. Um, this is still a good episode. I keep saying it's a good episode. Well, all these are really good episodes. Like, where was I again? I lost my train of thought for a sec. Yeah, I would like the 90s aesthetic. Again, I don't like that Wanda and Vision are separated, but at least they give Wanda more to do than in the seventh episode when she's just on her own, going everything is meaningless, drinking milk, just doing nothing. Since I did really like this episode. I've heard people say that they wish it was longer. I guess I do too, but I didn't notice that when I first saw it, so it's not as big for me. The ending was awesome. I was like, I want more. This is probably the ending that, besides like the first two episodes, that I was like, I want more. Give me the next episode. Give me the next episode. Oh, unfortunately, the next episode didn't deliver. And now, my favorite episode of this season of WandaVision, number one, is going to be the ninth episode, the series finale. This was a really good episode. It gave us the most action, the most everything, highest stakes, best character moments, best characters. I mean, these are all good characters, but they gave us like everyone together. Everybody gets like a little moment, I guess. Jimmy Woo has some scenes on his own. Randall Park's always good as that. Uh, I wish that like Kat Dennings as Darcy Lewis got to be more in the last few episodes, like she was in the first few. I also wish that Vision got to be more. I feel like the show's more like Wanda, which I guess that was what it focused on. I guess wish it had more Vision. Um, still, still a very good episode. Almost like a great episode. It's a great episode. I didn't like the whole conversation between White Vision and Fake Vision, I guess you could call him. I did like that Wanda had to, like, end up, this thing so bad, killing Billy and Tommy, and Vision, Fake Vision. I know, I guess I don't like kids dying and stuff, and, like, child, I know I just said that about, like, I made the comparison to Jaws in the sixth episode and all. But it was, yeah, it wasn't as bad. It kind of reminded me of the part in Titanic where the mom is in the room with the kids. She's in the room with the kids, and then she like closes the door, and then they drown. It was kind of like that. How she like ended up tearing Billy and Tommy apart. Um, this was probably my biggest negative of the show, besides the White Vision and Fake Vision, is Agatha Harkness or Agnes, whatever. I don't know. I guess like Catherine Hahn more as a nosy neighbor. That's what she's good at. I mean, she's not a bad actress. Like I said, oh, why is she the villain? She's terrible. No, that's not how I felt. But I did feel that she's better at the nosy neighbor. They kind of gave her that, okay, I'll give you the part that you wanted. You're the nosy neighbor, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like you're gonna be going back to Agnes anytime soon. I wish she would have stayed the nosy neighbor and she wasn't really a witch, but yeah, just a really good way to end this off. I really wanted Doctor Strange to show up in there. It's not really a negative, though. The post-credit scenes were really good. The one with the Skrulls, I was like, ooh, Doctor Strange. But no, it was the Skrulls. I wish it would have set up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness more than Captain Marvel too. But, I mean, you can't get everything you ask for. And the second post-credit scene, I was like, oh, if we're going to this other room, is Doctor Strange gonna show up? No, it's just Scarlet Witch Wanda, like, I don't know, like, her, I just had an awakening. You saw that face, I was just like, light bulb, put the graphic there. um, yeah, I just realized in Doctor Strange, when they had, like, the ghost come out of them, that was, like, her Scarlet Witch ghost reading through that. I'm guessing that a lot of you already picked up on that if you watch the show. But I just picked up on it now. Um, I yeah, it's kind of saying we kind of already knew she was gonna be. We did already know she was gonna be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but now it's kind of like, okay, she's a witch, she's learning all this stuff, and Agnes did say something like, only you can like take on the Sorcerer Supreme, which is now Doctor Strange. So maybe he's gonna feel threatened or something and try and fight her. There's always a scene. There's always a part in movies where like the hero's kind of a fault, or maybe not in movies, maybe just in sitcoms. I've been watching a lot of those lately. So yeah, just a great episode, a great season in general. So it's hard for me to rank all of these, but I feel like I did the best that I could. Remember, please give me suggestions on what to improve on in the comments section. Like and subscribe, and yeah, be good people.